time to get in some guts and spill some seeds. Time to put our hands on it and carve someone's sister's pumpkin. Boys and girls, welcome to October. It's the time for ghosts and goblins and all creatures who go bump in the night. But one of the most associated, if not the most associated with the holiday, are witches. Halloween and witches have sort of a symbiotic relationship with one another. They just go together. While not always fairly depicted on the silver screen, there have been dozens and dozens of witch movies. But fortunately for today, we are discussing one of the best. Andrew Fleming's 1996 classic, The Craft. This is one of those movies that can immediately bring me back to my youth, and I know I'm not alone on that. The Craft reached cult status and found its way into many a horror fan's hearts over the years. There is a multitude of reasons of why this flick still lives on and is talked about every October, and we're gonna do our best to cover all of them. We're at the crossroads we've waited for all year. Without any further introduction, here is our take on The Craft. Boom! Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, clapping them cheeks, spitting on your orifices, Mr. Ozark Mark. Ozark Mark, what's happening down there?
What's happening, Christian Ramey? Of course, as you may know, we are officially in October. We have made it. It is here. It is here. We are in the woods of the road to Halloween, and you are right here with us. I'm glad you got your seatbelt all clocked in, you got your snacks, you got your map or your map quest, whatever the fuck you got, and we are rolling right along here. Now, it seems rather appropriate of the movie that you picked to kick off October, because you can't have October without some witches.
That's right. And let's be honest with you. If you're talking about great witch movies, this is at the top of the fucking list. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's not the best. But the motherfucking... The Craft. That's how it came out. The Craft. All right. That's how I wanted to say it. We always have to come with some kind of rhyme. Something. I don't... How's it come out for you?
The Craft.
Yeah, The Craft. Last night, my wife and I, we watched The Craft. These girls get into some dangerous witchcraft. So, folks, I know a lot of you guys know this one. This is not only a shitload of great actors, but this hits that nostalgia bone hard. This is up there with one of those like Scream. Obviously, some of the same actors as Scream, so I'm not just Scream, but that 90s feel, this hits it right on the head, takes you right back. We're talking 1996, just a great lineup, a great cast, and I mean,
it's like a mix of Scream and Hocus Pocus.
That's right. It's a little dash of everything because it keeps you interested. Because I'll be honest with you, Ozark Mark and I don't really give two fucks about your love drama movies or your that's just really not gonna be our forte. But I'm not all the way speaking for you, but I think I have an idea that if you could portray something good in a movie like High Schoolers or whatever, it's fun because like something like a Riverdale where it's like, welcome to high school. Hope you're ready for the hardest year of your life, or something like real fucking just over the top and dramatic, and that's not us. But if you have something like realistic to what we remember as high school, you got to have the bullies, the real life bullies, the ones that drop mean words, because those are like, oh yeah, yep, that guy's real. I remember him. For me, even though this movie, I'm not going to say it's a girl movie, because this movie's open to everybody. I love this fucking movie. I will put it out there. I will never deny that. But it's a girl movie, and I like that it's kind of a girl movie. It's a kick-ass girl movie. I'm not going to lie. I was watching this movie down here in the studio a little bit earlier, getting brushed up again. My youngest comes in, and she just starts, like she does, she sits on my lap, and it was right at the part where they're doing the light as a feather, stiff as a board. And she was just locked in. And I'm like, yep, It's just a good movie.
Yep, it definitely gravitates towards the broads. It's a good kickoff. You know, it's a great cozy date night movie.
For sure, dude.
Because I mean, look, if you're gonna pick a horror movie, all right, sometimes you gotta lean towards what would be, fun for them as well.
Yeah, and you know, if from the outside looking in, somebody could see our show or our channel, be like, all right, Ozark, Mark, and Christian, they definitely have their style. But we're telling y'all this. We're kicking off October with a movie about ladies. All right?
It's about, three...
We're starting it off, and there's no regrets about that. That's what we want to do, baby, because this is a great fucking movie. I'm not going to... I guess we can give them a synopsis without, like, 'cause, look, let's be honest. It's been out for so long. You've had to have seen this. Obviously, spoilers come with this show, but let's be honest. If you haven't seen this, what the fuck you doing? But I would assume all of you have seen this, so I'm going to make this brief. But there's high school kids. 3 of these girls are into witchcraft. A new girl comes into the school. They realize maybe this girl has some powers within her. They recruit her. They dabble into some black magic, some dark arts, some witchcraft, and they bring out some scary shit, and they all start to, all their wishes kind of come true. It's one of those things where you make a wish, but it's like too good to be true, like how that happens.
It's pure definition of be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. That's what I was going for. You nailed that right on the head. So all these girls' wishes come to them, but maybe more so than they want. And, they have to stick together, but they all turn on the new girl. And the new girl has to pretty much fight for her life against these 3 witches. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I don't even know, honestly, what makes this movie so comfortable. It's very well written. The dialogue is great, but none of it feels forced to me. Like, there's some CGI spots that are questionable because it's an older movie, but, like, still, none of it feels forced. Everything feels like its own place. This feels like its own world. I believed every bit of it. And the ladies in this, I mean, first off, we got Neve Campbell, right? Like, let's run down this cast here.
We got Fairuza Balk.
Yeah, dude, she's great.
Otherwise known as Vicky Valancourt.
Yeah, man.
You got Robin Tunney as Sarah, Smoke Show.
Oh, yeah.
You got Neve Campbell as Bonnie, Smoke Show.
Rachel True as Rochelle. She was great.
Smoke Show.
You got Ben Stiller's wife, Christine Taylor.
Smoke Show.
Oh, yeah, she played the bully. And then Breckin Meyer. He's been in all kind of shit, but he was in Freddy's Dead.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. So, shitload of actors in this movie, and they all kind of crushed it. I don't know what it was with the 90s, but they had this great slew of horror movies where it was like just teenagers, and I kind of bought it hook, line, and sinker because it was a step above the 80s. Because the 80s was great. It was great for the gore. It was great for the payoff, and it was great for the villains. We got iconic villains in the 80s, bro. Like, iconic, dude. So many. And some of the kills, like the special effects, the Tom Savini shit, like, you're like, okay, that's top tier. And the 90s doesn't live up to that. But what I think it makes up for that is casting, and they made it more aware. They were better movies. The dialogue wasn't as, totally, like, it wasn't that way. It still has its moments. They're still kids, but it's more believable. I mean, I give Scream credit for that. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Those kind of movies, they were a little smarter than the movies from the 80s. And they had a little better budgets. Filming was a little better, obviously.
Yeah.
But The Craft.
The Craft.
Whoa.
What the fuck is that?
A butterfly moth thing just flew in here because The Craft, it's the demon.
Why is there always one bug in here every time we record?
It just makes its way in here. It's cause,
every time it's a fly, it's a moth, it's Craft. The Craft.
And let's go out by saying right away, folks, let's not lean heavy on The Craft's rating, because, I mean, we're going to rate it, but this isn't a true horror movie, but it has frightening elements. So if it gets banged around in the horror movie scale, I don't want anyone to be upset, because I'll let you know right now, I love the fucking Craft. I'll scream it from a mountaintop. I would let people know. I'll defend it, but this is a horror movie scale. So if somebody's saying, I want to watch a horror movie, but we're going a little above that, because this is October, and this is a fucking October movie, baby.
That's true, but just because it has a high score, that you might not be looking for a high score horror movie. You might be looking for more of a lower one.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it just depends on your situation. That's why it's a complete foolproof system here, okay? You know what I mean? If you're sitting here watching something with your significant other and they get scared easily, you might want to go in the 3 to 4 range in the horror movie scale.
That's
just
true.
pay attention to what the categories are. Are you going to go high in kills for them? No, you probably want to look for stuff that's high in casting, low in kills, low in fear. You know, so don't knock the score, okay? The score is just the score. The score depends on what you are looking for. So remember that. Remember that.
It's so much fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Now, walking through, navigating down this road, talking about the Craft. Mark, what was your favorite part?
Dude, you know what my favorite part is. Now.
I don't. It's not.
Yes, you do.
All right.
Yes, you do. Now, this is the, especially nowadays, even back in them days, it was edgy, but this nowadays, this is a very edgy part. Now,
when she said Negroid?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what she said. She said Negroid.
Okay, so this is what happened. So, eventually, Rachel, one of the 4 girls.
Rochelle.
What'd I say?
Rachel.
It's spelled Rochelle. My bad. Whatever. Rochelle, she is African American. Mm-hmm. Okay. So all she's doing, she's on the diving team. All she's trying to do is go out there and do her thing.
And she's super nice.
Yeah, and then you got Laura, the bully girl. She's like the pretty girl, popular girl, scale. What the hell was that? What are you doing?
I gotta turn my notifications off right now.
How dare you? What was I saying? Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, the bully girl, Laura in the movie, popular girl in school. She's always giving Rochelle a hard time.
Being a bitch.
Being a complete fucking bitch-a-rooney. So one day after practice, Rochelle confronts Laura and be like, she's sincere about it.
Super nice.
She's very, this is a very serious situation.
If you're not expecting this, if you've never seen this, this will fucking floor you.
Yes, it will. Because it's so unexpected. But she goes to Laura and be like, Laura, why are you doing this to me? And Laura, you really want to know? She's like, yes, I really would like to know. Now, that is a very mature thing to do. Is somebody who's giving you a hard time, go up to them and ask them why they're giving you a hard time. That's a very mature thing to do.
Yes.
And what Laura says next is completely out of left field. It gets me every time. And I'm sure it gets you every time. She goes, I don't like Negroids. What?
That's not even a term people use.
No.
I've never heard that before. So it's like a what? What did you say? So yeah, that's a spicy part, and that's a part where you're like,
what did she just say?
It's like a part in you watch an old black and white movie where a guy smacks the shit out of a woman and the whole theater erupts in laughter. No one's laughing because they agree with this man slapping. It's so fucking appalling. It's so it's what?
Yeah.
The fuck? What
did she just say?
What?
But I mean, I was rolling because I remember you sent me that clip a year ago or something, and I completely forgot about it. And this is my first time watching The Craft. So I just saw that. I was like, what the fuck did she just say? Oh my God.
It makes me one of the funniest parts about this whole process, Mark, is picking movies every week, and sometimes you see new ones for the first time, but it's I know probably most of the times you're by yourself And, like, horror movies are always littered with these just weird-ass, like, random parts you're just never gonna... Like, killer clowns from outer space. They're gonna have tacos and popcorn! And these just random shits that you'll never find in normal movies, where it's just sometimes horrible acting, a crazy dialogue where you're like, wait, what did they just do? Or it's just off the wall. So that always makes me laugh, knowing like certain movies have those parts, and I'm just like, yeah, it's the movie. Here, have fun with it. Because if I tell you too much, it'll ruin it. So
right.
like,
but I am watching these by myself now, and when something makes me laugh hysterically, because when you're by yourself, like, no matter how funny it is, you're less likely to laugh out loud when you're by yourself. But when you're by yourself and something like that happens and you just lose it, like, it's hard to forget.
It is hard to
What
forget.
about you?
Well, there's a whole lot of parts that are fun to it. So, if I really had to pick my favorite, the final throwdown between all the girls is pretty fucking cool. Nancy just gets too headstrong, and she gets too powerful, and she wants to kill the new girl. And I don't know, the way that scene was done, all the girls rise at once, they start flying in the air. I just thought that was well executed, and I really appreciated that. But there were some funny moments too, because all of their spells pretty much came true. Sarah just really wanted Chris, the Skeet Ulrich's character, really to like her, but he's like the douchebag like guy that just fucks all the girls, really mean womanizer kind of guy. But she just, wanted him to like her. And once the spell works, he's like following her around like a puppy dog, and he's like outside of her window that one night, like 3 a.m.
Oh man, that was hilarious.
He's sitting on the fence.
He's like, hey, why didn't you call?
He's like, why didn't you pick up?
Yeah, why didn't you pick up your phone? He's like, Chris, it's 3 a.m. Oh, that's a good reason.
Yeah, that's a good reason. He's like, just dumb and stupefied by it. Like, he's like, I don't know why, but I can't quit thinking about you.
I feel like we should move in together.
I've never been in love before. Well, I love my mom. And he's like, I had a puppy once when I was a kid. That was really amusing to me. I liked that part.
That was a good part. I tell you what though, but circle back to where you're talking about the final showdown, man. It just shows you, like, I wouldn't want to mess with no witches.
Nah.
Especially because women are
they are powerful in their own ways.
They are out there. All right, let me put it like this. All right, so if a dude is mad, wants to get you, okay, he's going for you only. Like, men have a code usually. Any real men have a code. Like, no women, no children. Nobody that's not involved with it you're not in the fucking way. Like, I'm not concerned about you.
Yeah.
Like, if this was going down, it would just be between Nancy and Sarah. Like, that's it. But no. They go and they pull, like, some witchcraft stuff and make her believe that, like, her parents are died on a plane crash. Like, trying to tear her whole world down and then kill her. Like, yo, no.
Yeah.
That's no good. I ain't messing with no witches now.
No.
Okay? Especially that shit.
Yeah, Nancy, she goes over and tries to, because Chris is so, like, love-stricken by Sarah that, like, he eventually gets her on a date. And, like, he tries to rape her, and it's like a crime of passion. Like, he would like it wasn't rageful almost. Like, he was just like, I love you. Like, kind of, the boy ain't right. He's under some kind of spell, some kind of fucking hypnosis.
He took one of them rhino pills.
One of them gas station boner pills. Oh no. I'm all hopped up on them rhinos, babe. Oh, you're on them rhinos again.
I'm curious to take one of those things just to see what it's like. Like, what the fuck? Like,
fuck the hot chip challenge. Like, the one chip challenge. I want to do the rhino pill challenge. And track pants.
Oh man.
Now that's funny. So she gets away, But once she, like, because she's been, like, butting heads with the girls ever, because Neve Campbell's character, she wanted to be beautiful. Now, Neve Campbell is gorgeous, so you might be wondering what the fuck, but her character had burns and scars all over her body. And she was going through a bunch of therapy. And, like, her little spell was to try to get, beautiful and get her skin healed. And it worked. So she got more confident in herself. She became more narcissistic, less like who she was, the N-word good human. Nancy got crazy big head. And Rochelle, she was just kind of like, and it also kind of stuck up. But
she ended up feeling bad because she made
right.
that Laura's girl hair like completely fall off. I guess that's what her comeback to her was.
Yeah, because the girl just called her a fucking negroid, and like when they went to go do their spells, they had this little ceremony. She just said, I want to be like loved and respected and treated like normal, especially from racist pieces of shit like whatever her name was, Laura.
Yeah.
And but that wasn't it. You remember who was it? Was it Sarah took a piece of her hair and then she put a fucking spell
that's right.
on her hair. So, the girls really end up feeling bad. Be careful what you wish for because it got too much. Now, I really enjoyed how Nancy's character went over and tried to like get Chris though. Like even though the girls were all kind of mad at each other, but she's like, "What dude tried to fuck you up?" Like, "Nah, I'm going over there." And she like seduces Chris by like pretending like she's fucking Sarah. Like she like does some kind of witch spell where she looks like Sarah. And he gets all fucked up. Like once he comes to and realizes who's who, because Sarah actually walks in the room and he realizes he's been fooling around with Nancy. That's a very funny scene, but she freaks out right there. But Sarah's kind of in the back like, "Hey, I kind of did this to him. Like we need to he's still a douchebag, but like not like this isn't all his fault. He's under some kind of crazy love spell." And it's like, I don't know. All the girls have to come to their morals by the end of the movie, but Nancy wasn't cured. She ended up in a fucking crazy hospital. But Rochelle and Bonnie, they ended up somewhat normal. Towards the end of the movie, they like go to Sarah's house and try to apologize. And Sarah doesn't like fully accept it right away, but she's not dramatic about it. Like it leads to an open ending of like, hey, these motherfuckers could be friends maybe again.
Now, no, it's not. She does some power witchcraft stuff and almost dropped a branch on their heads. Be like, "Look, I still got my powers."
Well, she proved that she still had her powers, but I think like it felt, women are like that, all right? It's like locking cats in a bathroom. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. What kind of you open up and they're in there laying together. You're like, "What the fuck is going on in here?" Like I don't.
That's the best example. It's the best example I've ever heard. That made too much sense. Holy jeezel.
It's very true.
It is very true, man. But
wrangling cats is like one of the worst fucking jobs. Putting a cat in a kitty crate or just like having to get a cat. Like, "Oh, people are coming over. We got to put the cats in this room." There's usually like if you get them unsuspected, and they're just like chilling and you're just like, whoosh, then you got them. But if they know you're looking for them, you're fucked. You're fucked, dude. That's a process.
Yeah.
They're I know. Good at hiding.
I've lived with cats my whole life.
They're the hide and go seek champs of the world.
They are, but there's secrets to getting them out. Trust me. The trusty laser pointer is the number one way to find a cat without getting its hopes up, because all you gotta do is, if you're looking for a cat, get a laser pointer, point it at the ground, and walk around the house. Eventually, it will come. The cat will come out, and then you can guide it to wherever you want it to go. Like, all right, we're gonna go in this room now. Bam. There you go. Or you can do the classic.
That's a good one.
You can do the classic food shake. Food shake will come out.
Cats are so bitchy when they're hungry.
Yeah. Or I'm telling you this: another thing that cats love to lay on is paper. Just paper.
They like to lay on shit they're not supposed to.
Exactly.
Church lays up on these fucking foam sound blockers.
This would be actually comfortable, actually.
Yeah, she lays up here.
I should have not gave you these and just put this like under my mattress or something.
I know, they're comfy.
It was comfy and soundproof too. Anyways.
Soundproof.
If you had to date one of these witches, which one would you go for? Would you go for Nancy, Sarah, Bonnie?
Bonnie or Rochelle?
Bonnie or Rochelle?
Yeah. Same time. How about you?
I'd go for Sarah.
All right, yeah. I mean, there's not, like, I don't care what. You could say Nancy, and I'm not going to look at you crazy, because Nancy is a perfect representation of a crazy scene girl, everybody knows a girl just like that, and most of the times they're like some of the coolest motherfuckers you've ever met in your life. So, like,
oh, sure.
She reminds me of so many, like, archetypes of women that I've met in my life that, like, are some of the coolest people. But they, like, when you meet them, you're like, is this some fucking royal bitch? And you're just like, is she super mean? It's like, nah, she's actually pretty cool. But Nancy didn't end up cool. But that was because of the witchcraft.
That was because of the craft.
Rochelle seems cool. She seems like a fun time. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie seems like a fun time, too.
Yeah. Which one do you think does the nastiest things?
Bonnie, for sure. Butt stuff, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
She's like a nail biter, hiding under hoodies, for sure. For sure. You could put a whole fist up there, probably. There's issues, psychological problems, that you could exploit.
You could put a whole fist up there. Stop it.
Now, Sarah's going to make you work the hardest, Definitely make you work the hardest for, like, I feel like a dry hand job, like a dry handy, where you're like, look, this isn't actually, I don't think you know how to do, I can do this. I can do this better. Okay? Let's get out of the hand game, all right? Because I've got those, all right? I also have a mouth, but I can't suck my own dick, all right? Because if dudes could, they wouldn't leave the house, all right? That's why God made us not let us do that, okay? If that's, like, what the thing was. Nobody beat off. Everybody suck their own dick. That's the way of the world. But we can't do that. We aren't able to do that.
That's correct. That is correct.
Men are disgusting. I didn't make the world. It's just what we are. Putting fists in things. I was trying to make him lose his water.
It ain't working. Try again, pal.
Didn't get me this time. What? Look, don't get all crazy down now. Now here's the real question.
Hit me with it.
Now they all what I thought was cool, because they represented, like, the four corners. They had, like, earth, wind, fire. Right? No, earth, wind, fire.
I thought it was the north, south, and east towers.
It was, but, like, one represented fire, one represented water, one represented air, one represented earth.
Yeah, earth, wind, fire, and rain.
Like,
water, whatever, yeah.
So I thought that was kind of an interesting concept. And look, the kills aren't very high in this. Chris ends up falling out a window. Nancy's, like, stepdad dies of a fucking heart attack because she, like, kind of freaks out, has a Matilda moment. All the lights blow out and, like, she has a heart attack, or he has a heart attack. But if we're counting fucking animals and shit, like, there were a bunch of snakes killed. They made, like, 15 sharks wash up on shore, okay? That's animal deaths. That's not good. That's not good. You killed sharks?
I like when she was walking on water.
That was kind of cool. And I like that the CGI looks different, because it's like, it's just something different looking to your eye. It's a cool still shot. The colors, I don't know, the way it's lapped on each other. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which one's the scariest?
Of the witches?
Yeah.
Oh, Nancy.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I had to watch this. I had to watch this through the internet because it's not on any streaming service right now.
Well, that's their own fault.
Exactly. But sometimes it pauses, and it paused, like, right at a time where she was, like, floating and going crazy in Sarah's face, and it just, like, stopped.
Yes.
Like, on her big ass teeth, just, like, chomping at you. I was like, alone, like, all right, can we continue now, please? Because this is kind of freaking me out.
This girl's scary.
She's definitely the scariest.
But this is a prime example of why to be nice to everyone in school. okay? Because when shit goes down, you want everybody on your side. Now, what if these people were rooting for you? What if they were blocking for you? Like, you weren't a part of their crew, but you're just like, they see you at your lunch table one day, and you're just, like, bummed out. And they're like, oh, what's going on? You're just like, oh, I dropped the big pass in the game. Wish I could make better passes. And they just do like some shit to you, and you just start catching touchdowns, fucking ripping it up.
Well, anybody that says they're a witch, I'm like, yo, can I give you a piece of my hair, and can you do something? Like,
yeah, do something good.
What can we work here?
Yeah.
Dude, you fucking this fucking moth. There he is. I'm gonna get his ass. I'm gonna get his motherfucker. You gonna die. If this thing goes in my mouth, I'm going to be pissed.
Look, little mouth. Don't be getting in here messing up our fun time talking about the craft. Now, I'm assuming this was California, right? I'm sure they mentioned it in the movie, but I don't remember because she was from...
I don't know where it takes place.
But it still felt fall-like.
Does it take place in Salem?
No, but that would be a great fucking touch.
It would be a great fucking touch.
Poor Chris. Fucking falling out the window. He dies. They killed my man Skeet Ulrich. But Nev Campbell and Skeet Ulrich, what a busy year. They did Scream later that year. 2 great movies together. That's why their chemistry obviously worked so well later on. That's nice.
That is nice. You know what else is nice? Learning.
Oh, I thought you were going to say farmers markets.
Whoa. Welcome to the one and only one of you know here. This is a segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. Now, this is how it's going to go if this is your first time here. We're going to tell you things we know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know, you may not know what we know, but if you know what we know, you're going to find out what we know, and then if you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, so everybody's going to know together, and everybody's going to, release at the same time. So, why don't you tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie, The Craft?
This one makes me angry. This makes me angry. So, as you know, this isn't the first time these 2 fuckers have been mentioned on our show here. Because they ripped up one of our favorite franchises, the Friday the 13th franchise. Fucking Siskel and Ebert, okay?
No, not these fucking bozos.
Okay, I like respect the place in the movie game. I feel bad for Ebert, how he fucking died. Nobody deserves to die like that. But these motherfuckers, they gave The Craft 2 thumbs down. And they said it was a depressing experience. You know what? Their fucking show's a depressing experience.
Who? What? They gave this a depressing experience. They gave this 2 thumbs down.
2 fucking thumbs down.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Not split, like one went up, one went down, 2 thumbs
How do you give this
down.
a thumbs down? What's wrong with this is a good movie.
This feels like a Halloween
I know,
movie.
this is a heartwarming movie.
Yeah, like
with a little bit of fright in it. What the hell's wrong with these guys?
If you got a teenage girl that's in the spooky stuff, this is right up the, this is right there. What are you gonna do?
I know one of these guys is dead, but if they were both still alive, I would wish.
I think they're both fucking dead.
Okay, well, if they were both alive, I would wish for their water heaters to go out because they're assholes. They're
I hope your
fucking
toothbrush
assholes.
falls on the ground.
Yeah. See, that's what I do. See, I don't like to wish death upon people because I feel like that's a little extreme. So, I wish different things upon different people depending on what your crime is against me. Like how much you annoy me.
I hope the next time you pour cereal, you'll find out you don't have milk.
That would fucking suck.
That's a horrible time.
That
Everybody's
is a
done
horrible
it.
time.
Everybody's done it.
If somebody cuts me off in traffic, be like, you know what? I hope your phone dies when you're trying to GPS your way home. Mm-hmm.
I hope when you're watching porn, you share it to your parents. That's what happens. Now,
That's a horrible one.
Now that's a crazy fact there. Now that's a sad fact. Now I'm hoping what you got's got to be a little funny or something.
I think I got something for you.
Okay.
Check this out. So, there is a teacher in this movie. He's a French teacher, and he's speaking French.
Oh, yeah.
He's speaking it very fluently.
Oh yeah, 'cause that guy's French.
You would think he's French, but he's not French.
What do you mean he's not French?
He's Hungarian.
What the fuck? They lied to us.
I know.
He's not French?
No, he's Hungarian.
He looks and he does it so well. Those little bastards lied to us.
Hey, it's called acting, though. You can't get a French guy to play a French guy. That doesn't make any sense, because that ain't acting.
That's true, 'cause he already is.
Exactly. So he'd just be there. He wouldn't be an actor. You need an actor.
Thespians.
Yeah. That was my fact.
That's a good fact.
It wasn't
there.
a long one, but it was a fact.
That's a mind-blowing fact because I've seen this movie a lot of times. I've seen that teacher
And you thought he was French.
the whole time.
But he ain't.
I don't know what to believe in anymore. I don't know what to believe.
You know what? I don't know either. But I hope the next time you go number 2, you run out of toilet paper.
Yeah, take that. How do you like that? I hope your brakes go out 100 miles earlier than they would.
I hope every night when you sleep, the cats go around and they jump up on your sink and they rub their ass all on your toothbrush.
I hope you get to work and you forget if you close the garage door.
I've done that before. It's horrible.
Oh, it's one of the worst feelings. 'Cause you're like, I did. I think I did.
I thought it did.
That's horrible. That's it.
Oh, man, that was a horrible one. But I recommend that. Don't wish death upon people. Wish different things upon them.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Like, I hope you get home and you're all relaxed and the batteries die in your remote.
Yeah.
And you get all snuggled up and you gotta move.
I hope you gotta pee in the middle of the night.
Dude, everybody does. I've been waking up, dude. I've had to pee so bad lately. I don't know why. I hope there's nothing wrong with my prostate here.
I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
We'll see if you'll be here next week.
Yeah, we gotta go now because we're out of facts, I think.
Okay, that's good. Mark, I think a lot of movies, we haven't discussed this, maybe we have, but I think in order to be like an authentic 90s movie, you have to have a creepy store inside of it. There's always like the creepy store that has all the answers where there's some like, I know stuff person.
And in a bad part of town.
It always happens, and you just know what it is. You're like, where are these stores in our town, Mark? Because I don't necessarily want to get involved in these kind of things, but I'd be interested, to see, like, just park on the side of the street and just see the guy that shows up at, like, 10 o'clock in a rainstorm, all distressed, like, what's he going through? Like, what's going on? Oh, is he holding a heart? What? Oh, this is spicy. So we need to, if you know these stores, let us know of them, because it's just good to know. If I'm traveling, I want to know where all my weird trinket stores and where I can find said things.
Yeah, I feel like that room in that witchcraft store that they always go into, or whatever the fuck that store was. I don't know what the hell. I'm calling it the witchcraft store.
That's fine with me.
There was a curtain back there, and she finally reveals what it is. When she's going through trouble and she doesn't know what to do. And they're attacking her and she can't sleep and all that. The girls, when they're attacking Sarah, they're making her dreams so she can't sleep. They're maybe giving her bad luck. They're doing all this stuff. So they finally reveal that back curtain. It's only in the movie for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not long. Like, you hinted that back room was there since the beginning of the movie. Now we finally get to see it, and it's just a circle with some shelves and some candles.
Just like a pentagram on the floor with chalk.
It's like her little thing, and, like, she doesn't even get to use it.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Sarah got scared. She ran away.
That was a little bit of a letdown to me.
Yeah, you were hoping it was going to be something crazy back there. It's going to be like a wizard. That she can wake up.
I know. I need... Tell you what, though, she definitely wasn't wearing no sports bra when she was running. You know what I'm saying?
I do. All these girls are pretty hot. I'm not, and
Them
like
things
that's
were bouncing around.
That's the problem. You see, what's going to happen is, sweet, unexpected Ozark Mark, he's just going to be a high schooler, and he's going to talk to one of these girls, and she's going to suck the soul out of him, and he's going to get into some problems. Somebody's sweet son can just, get swept away by these witches, and they just, they're making sport of it, making them carry their books and laughing at them, That's, it's starting young. You got to watch out. You got to watch out. Because I don't know if I'm like either, because if you found yourself in like the thrones of like, you remember how Dracula had like the three girls, like the little, the girls outside of they were like guard dogs. Like they would distract the men that would try to come by. They would like seduce them or whatever. If you got caught in like one of those kind of pits, maybe it's just the way it's supposed to be, man. Maybe you're just supposed to be, the servant of some witches for the rest of your life. I mean, you're going to get rewarded in some kind of ways.
Yeah, so the only way to get anything done is to be a gay male.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. You are free. You are free from temptation, sir. Yes. Yeah. If only you could, avoid all this craziness.
I know, I'm just not that manly. Like, I can't, like, taking to something up the, you know what I'm saying. That's like the most manly probably shit you can ever do. Like I ain't that manly.
Yeah, no.
I ain't doing that.
No.
I ain't doing all that now.
I just see I can get caught up in this, These witches would, and I wouldn't even realize it, You remember when he was carrying all the books and had her purse around his neck and shit, and like his buddies are like, yo, what are you doing? And he just looked at him like, what? He didn't even know. No. That's terrifying, bro. Yep. That's terrifying.
It happens to every man.
I feel like all of our ladies are taking our hair in the middle of the night and they're trying something. They're trying something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
And then, that's how you wind up at Target. Like, you don't even, know how it happens. You're just, like, at the register with your credit card, and it's, like, $300 worth of shit. You're like, how'd you get me here? What's going on?
Oh, man.
And then, and then she's just...
Target needs to be burned to the ground. Oh, I feel like that's the covenant. That's where things are going on.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is there. As soon as you walk in, there is a Starbucks.
And the little dollar shit.
There's little dollar shit, a Starbucks, and then swimsuits or like whatever's in season right there. Like that's just the sinker. And then you go further and further down. Next thing you know, you're in the pillow section, you're in the fragrance section.
And what do they do?
You know where the groceries are? All the way in the back.
You know what they do too? They just touch everything and say, "This is cute." They just touch everything and say, "This is cute." You're like, "Look, dude. Electronics ain't what they used to be. I can't be in these stores with you like they used to have gaming systems, things you could play. I could kill 30 minutes, I could go.
You know how you trap us? Give me a Kmart with a Little Caesars pizzeria in it.
Oh, yeah. I'll sit there by myself depressed.
I would eat a pizza and be like, you go do whatever the fuck it is you got to do.
I'm going to ingest 1,400 calories and be depressed and watch sports clips on my phone.
Yep, because that's how a man does it.
Isn't that going to give you heartburn?
No. I don't care. I just need to feel something.
I just need to feel... It feels good to feel something. Sir.
Oh, man. Well, you mentioned earlier about not to steer away from this rating. Well, I want to know what this actually does rate on a horror movie scale. I'm very interested. Let's go through the portal.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Whoa! We're back up in it. Thank you for coming into this dimension of the show. This is the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, if you are paying attention. This is the segment of the show where your one and only favorite horror nerd, Christian Ramey, is going to sit here and he's going to give you his world-famous horror movie scale and rate the movie on a horror movie scale, not a movie in general. So let's keep that in mind, okay? Now that you've gone through the spiel, I'm going to tell you how this is going to go down. We're going to do this a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of...
10 points altogether.
You know, this is like almost, I think this is the 70th episode of the Sloppy Horror Podcast, and you have gotten that correct every time. So good for you.
I've got 10 fingers. So that's any more?
I got these little hands.
I got hands on my body.
Now, let's get into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
3.
Good enough. Let's go into the...
It's a solid 3.
It is a solid 3. I mean, you got a star-studded cast here. You know, They all work well. Okay, well, usually you usually do a little spiel about that, but you're going a solid 3. I guess it's very quite obvious. So that's 3 out of 10 here so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Half a point. We have a man getting hit by a car. We have the heart attack guy. And then we have dude falling out a window.
I forgot about the dude getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
That is just the biggest body flop under the car. Because why do you try and shoot the shot of him actually getting run over? Because it's going to look bad every time. It's like a crash test dummy just getting poop. Like, don't do that. Do everything but that shot, and it would look better. But
there were some animals, there was some shit going on, enough to get it a half a point. There is death within the movie.
There is some death. We don't do quarter, we do half point increments, so you have to get something. So that is 3.5 out of 10 so far here on a Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the third and final 3-point category here in a Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
So I'm really gonna probably give this a 1. Because I think it's enough to be a 1. It was either for me going to be a half a point or a 1, but rewatching this, I mean, especially when my little one came in the room, there were certain parts where it just got a little climactic, and I'm like, all right, climatic, and I just didn't want her to, like, freak out. Now, she's 4, you know, but I think, like, 8, 9-year-olds could be a little freaked out, because there's moments like where she's like getting her wrist slit, and then like, I mean, like you said, when she starts floating and dragging her toes and she's all up in your shit, I mean, there's some creepy moments in there, and it's kind of suspenseful. I don't think an adult is going to be terrified, but I think you're going to be like in it, like you're going to be invested, sitting on the edge of your seat. But a younger kid, like not even like super young, I think like a grade school kid could still be kind of freaked out by this, depending on how they are. So I'd give it a 1.
Hey, some people are afraid of snakes and bugs too, and there's a shit ton of them in it.
Yeah. So it's just got a very suspenseful way about it. It's like an uneasy feeling all the way to the end, trying to figure out like, how is this going to work out? So 1 feels fair.
Okay. So that's 1, so that is 4.5 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 1-point category for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is re-watchability.
Even stepping out, like, you know, obviously, yeah, I've admitted that I love the movie, but if I'm looking through somebody else's eyes and the general public, is this a rewatchable movie, or is this just some weird movie that I like to rewatch a lot? People love The Craft. This has it's so big that it's hard to call it a cult film. You know, cult films usually feel a little more indie or like kind of a little more unknown. Quite a few people know about this movie, but this is kind of, I'm not going to put it up there as high as The Lost Boys, but it's almost a Lost Boys of the 90s, kind of. It's up there, man. And it has a large following. You see it all the time on TikTok, all the time on your social medias, you know, The Craft. It's just a popular movie, so it definitely is going to get the half a point, and I'm trying to speak for everyone in that.
Yeah, I think this is a watchable movie, especially rewatchable movie, definitely during the season 2. I can easily picture people outside in the fall time, leaves falling, watching this movie outside around a fire, around Halloween time, just you know, I can easily, perfect situation for this. This can easily be on, you know, This is on probably every Halloween marathon, 30 Days of Halloween, or whatever the hell stations do that stuff.
You got a group of teenage girls this year, and they're all wanting to watch something along the lines of scary. Give this one to them. This is totally digestible for a teenage girl. They'd fucking love it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they're into Friends and Scream and, like, the 90s scene. Like,
oh, yeah. This is definitely nostalgia for them, for sure. They're definitely going to dig that. So that is a total of 5.5 out of 10 for The Craft.
That's more solid than I thought it would, Frank.
It's a lot. It's higher than you intended it to be from what you were saying for before.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, it's like right there on the cusp, but it's like a Halloween spooky-oriented movie. It belongs to the horror genre, but it shouldn't just be exclusively judged like for its kills or for its suspense. It's just
it's more of a suspense. I would probably put it in a suspense or thriller kind of category versus horror. But I mean, there's horror things in it. You have witches. This is Halloween shit. Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm not a witch. I don't. I've never been a Wiccan or practiced anything with that. But apparently they brought in a guy that's like pretty head up of like the Wicca organization of something. I'm not gonna butcher whatever the fucking, but I mean it's like a religion. It's like paganism, kind of Wicca. They've got their own organization of people, and somebody pretty high up within that shit oversaw things on the movie. Now Hollywood has its way to spice things up, so I'm sure it did. And there might be somebody right saying like this is totally not accurate, whatever. And like I don't know, but it seemed pretty accurate. And I heard they had a guy on set to kind of make sure things were up to code.
Well, yeah, but you can't. I mean, you can't do everything fully accurate because apparently, I mean, if that shit's real.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, you don't want to fucking do some shit now, all right? You don't want to stir some shit up.
That's a good fucking point, dude.
So just do something wrong, like put a different word in or somewhere. Don't. I hate when people do. That's not accurate. It's a movie, okay? It's a movie.
It's just one of them movies.
It's just a movie.
Yeah, you start stirring stuff up. Things get wild. You don't know what's happening. You don't know. You don't know what's going on out there, Mark. You don't play games. Now, I'm going to tell you something here. I've bought some things off the internet before, okay? And one of which being my phone case here, you see?
Yes.
Which is a Ouija board
made
of wood.
I see that.
I put this on my phone, and about a month later, I started to get thousands of TikTok followers. Did it coincide? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we were already doing our thing, getting YouTube love.
Well, there was a dead rabbit in my backyard yesterday, and then I got cat puke this morning.
Yeah.
Did that have something to do with it? I don't know.
Could have been the seance I did on your roof.
Don't you quit doing that shit when you come over, man.
I'm sorry.
I had very specific things. I said, don't touch my spoons and don't do rituals on the damn roof.
Your neighbors weren't cool with it, but whatever, man. You got to keep people on their toes. Let them know. Your neighbors might be witches. You don't know who we are over here or what the fuck we do. Don't try to put us in a box, homie. Okay? One day, I'll be in a fucking full Yankees outfit. Next day, I'll be in a Red Sox outfit. Day after that, I'll be in a fucking Teletubby suit. They don't know who I am, what's going on in here, what's my job.
Speaking of which, I had an idea for you to do. So you know how you had that controversy with your neighbor? Not really controversy, but it's just like weird that every time you cut your grass, he goes out and cuts his grass. Every time you do your bushes, he goes out and does his bushes. Every time you fix your car, he goes out and fixes his car like right after.
Yeah, it freaks me out.
I want you to get that blown up 10-foot Michael Myers. I want you to put it on your roof. And if he puts a Jason on his roof, that shit's real.
Yeah, Andy might be cool at that point because I'll be like, all right, that's actually pretty dope.
Probably.
Or
Probably.
I'll start doing yoga on my roof and see if he starts getting out there.
Oh, there's a lot of hail damage up here.
All sorts of things. You never know what's going to happen because it's October, baby. We're carving pumpkins, we're eating a lot of fucking sugar, and we're not going to give one shit about it. Just drink more water. You're eating a lot of sugar, just drink more water. Just balance it out, baby, all right? Doesn't matter. Eat that Reese cup. Slam it, baby. Give me your Almond Joys. Give me all of those. because I love those. And if you do too, you're a decent human being. You're a decent, you're a fair human being. Hey, other countries, it's only America that does fucking Halloween for the most part. They've got like Day of the Dead festivals and shit like that, but
Day of the Dead, Halloween, it's all the same, man.
if you guys don't have that shit in your country, I'm sorry, but just come here, bring your kids, all right? Don't just come yourself. Don't be a fucking creepy adult just walking around the streets getting candy, all right? Bring your kids, and you'll have a fun time. Trick or treat! Oh, were you supposed to be British? We're all British. And just like, oh.
That's a very believable costume. Christian Ramey, we are winding down here in the final few minutes of the show here. This is usually where you give out a little hint. Just a little hint of the next movie in line here on the road to Halloween. Do you have a hint that you can give the folks?
Yeah.
What is it?
Look, we're dealing with a legendary character. Okay.
Okay.
When you're talking horror icons, like going all the way back to the beginning of film,
Okay.
you're dealing with just a few.
Okay.
We're not talking Nosferatu. Start thinking the 30s, folks. That's not when this movie came out, wasn't the 30s, but think of the monsters of the 30s. Some of the most... Who were the two to set them off? Who was the two at the beginning? You had...
Oh, you're asking me? I thought
Yeah.
this is just a hint.
No.
Dracula and Frankenstein.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. Now, the movie we will be discussing does not regard galvanism or an individual who was sewn together and brought back to life through galvanism, okay? So we are dealing with the other member, the other party. Now, which of those movies? Because he's got a lot. He's got a lot. He's from the beginning of time. There's a whole bunch. But something about the 90s feels right.
Well, there you go. There's your hint. Now, if you can't wait and you want to be prepared for next week's episode and you want a little bit of bonus content and you want to know what movie we're doing on the next episode of the Sloppy Horror Podcast, Christian Ramey, where can these people find that information?
Well, that's right, folks. If you'd like to see that was a good segue right there. But
Thank
folks,
you.
if you would like to see some of our bonus content and some of our, we tell you what the next week's episode is on our Patreon. I think you guys have noticed there's been no commercials throughout this whole show, and if we have entertained you at all, we like to stay that way, and we are able to do so by putting bonus content on our Patreon. And for like $3 a month, you guys can keep us afloat and help us. And, keep a smile on Ozark's face. And then you get the behind the scenes. You get to hear what we're doing on the day-to-day. You get to know what next week's episode is. Sometimes our scheduling gets a little thrown off, but we're human beings, okay? And to record 2 nights out of the week is sometimes tough. So we have to make it work, schedules stretch. It's just tough. But for the most part, you'll always know what next week's episode is. And... you'll hear some cool stuff. We've been telling spooky stories and stuff. Scary stories.
And stuff.
All kinds of neat stuff.
We'll be telling scary stories all through October. And they're getting good. They're getting good. I'm still freaked out from the fucking peeping story.
That one
the
was
peeking
good.
story. That's probably the toughest one so
I
far.
wish you could have just had like a camera inside of the studio of the night, like when I read that at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm just like, like looking behind me and shit. Like that really freaked me out. And I'm like, dude, it's fiction. Quit being a little bitch. And I'm like,
fiction.
It's good though.
It is good. That was a good one. It's always the weird stuff that you don't expect. Like, that's the stuff that's the scariest, is the unexpected things that you don't think is scary until it actually happens.
It works this way in the movies as well. We talk about this all the time. It's not just scream queens that are great, but when you see, a male convey fear, sometimes they do it like comedy-wise where a guy's like, ah! But for the most part, when you get like a Clint Eastwood, when you get a stern male throughout the whole movie and he loses his shit, that's a scary moment. Because like as a man, like we look up to certain people and you're like, dude, he's losing it. Like if you saw your dad cry, You're like, ah.
Yeah, I don't ever want to see that.
Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, you can see your mom cry 10 times a day, and it's like you don't want to, but like you can imagine it's probably over nothing really that important. But like if your dad cried,
Dude, you'd feel
something died.
You'd feel so dead inside. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I would not know what to do.
When it doesn't happen often. I thought the Hostel movies were great at that. Like men, like in the first one, like just actually being afraid, but like not overselling it. Just a point of, and when that happens, it's like, oh my God. And I think the Peeping Story did great at that because it was just like a dude being like, yo, things are starting to get weird. Like, am I tripping?
And it's like, yeah, and it's also like, what do you do? Like, you can't like hit her.
Yeah,
you can't you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. It's just that's the worst of anything is when you can't do anything about something.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
Trapped in it.
Feeling of being trapped. Absolutely. Well, boys and girls, we have made it to October. Thank you for joining us.
Congrats on staying alive, everybody.
Yeah.
Good job.
And now come back next week for another fun-filled episode of the Sloppy Horror Podcast right up in your ass.